Hi, I'm Eric Minick with IBM Cloud, and there's a good idea going around the DevOps community right now. Value stream management. It's a big topic. I want to explain it, get you that primer so you understand what everyone's talking about. Fundamentally, we know that in software delivery, we're trying to get good new ideas from the business out to our customers. And value stream management is focused on the idea that everything that happens from idea to customer is important and needs to be managed in a holistic manner. So rather than managing our developers separately from our testers and our business analysts, etc., we want to optimize the flow across all of those groups. So let's start by putting together an example flow, an example value stream, and then we'll see how this works. So if we have an idea that's coming in, we might need to prioritize that against other work, right? And then once work has been decided to be dealt with, we're going to develop it, right? We're going to hand it to our developers who will code it up. Maybe there's a design cycle in here. Then, maybe we've got a process where we do builds, right? And we'll build it. Then maybe we've got some test environments, so we run a whole bunch of tests against it. I'm just going to group all of that together here as test. Right. So we've got ideas. Most groups I talk to have more ideas waiting to be prioritized than they've got time to do. Maybe we've got some handful of developers, and so we've got some number that are coming in. Hopefully we don't have too many waiting to be built. Almost always we have a lot of things under test right now, so there's a lot of things being tested. I've been on the happy path of ideas. Probably also have bugs coming in too. So, we've got to prioritize which bugs to fix, which incidents to deal with. We've got some of those in here. We've got fixes being tested as well. So we've got some mix of planned and unplanned work. And we could draw a flow chart here to say that work kind of flows like this for us in this really simple example. Okay, so this is my value stream. I have two sets of inputs, one straight path. This is grossly oversimplified, but now I can see some things, right? I can see things tend to not pile up and build, they do pile up and test. This is about as much capacity as I have for development. Now I want to start optimizing this. And there's a lot of places we go. Our attention's likely to go to testing. If I'm a developer, a development manager right now, and I'm looking at this and I see, oh, we've got 7 things we're working on. That might be great. But if I only have 4 developers on this squad, I might say, well, that's more than 1 each. That seems a little odd. I probably only want to be assigning 1 task at a time to people, and then maybe I've got, some buffer here of work that's ready to be worked on. Am I assigning too early and I need to add that buffer or what? So this was an example that a team I worked with had, and they looked at this. And the reason was they actually had developers who were only working on one thing at a time, but they were also including in things here that were waiting on code review. And so their real process was actually come down to code review and then do a merge and a build, right? So it wasn't that, right? It's like this. And when they did that, a couple issues would come off. If we had 5 developers, they'd be pending down here. Now, where this got more interesting is you also want to time how long everything sits here, right? So maybe on average, it takes 8 weeks for something from when it's an idea stage until it gets worked on. It's in development for 1 week. It might be, 1 day to get built. Testing might be 6 weeks. And in this group, this code review, they looked at it and it was a week. And the moment they surfaced that, the whole development team started yelling at each other. Because the senior developers were like, look, I get a lot of code reviews I need to do. It takes a while to get to them all. And the junior developers like, you're always ignoring us. You're not getting this done. So there's this like tension within the development team that was surfaced when we said, hey, it's not just the senior developers hate one junior developer. It's not just you. Everybody's waiting. And what they ended up doing is they found ways to have all the developers do code reviews for each other. And they were able to eliminate this from 1 week to under 24 hours, right? So maybe 1 day. And that's nice because right there in that moment, you were able to alleviate a lot of strain on the development team and speed overall time to market by about a week, right? From a week to a day. That's pretty good. Now, at a more macro level, you're probably focusing on the 6 weeks of testing, right? Because you've written code, you have something useful, it's getting bogged down here. You're gonna look under the covers here to see what the issues are. Is it setting up test environments? Is it a lot of manual testing? Is it a change review process that's hanging off after testing? Similar to how code review is after development, that's not captured here. You want to get under the covers, understand that, and really zoom in on these big slow areas. The 8 weeks that things are on average waiting before development starts, that might be that we don't have enough developers, right? And then if we open that up, we'd be able to handle more. But we'd also need to take a hard look at the test team to make sure that they could keep up with more changes coming in. It looks like they probably can't. So we've got a team that's delivering relatively slowly. So from when they say, yes, I'm going to start working on this, it was basically 6, 7 weeks to deliver it. A lot of that time in testing. So we'd focus here. We would look at, if the business wanted more, maybe we need to add some developers, but it's not going to be free. And then only once all that was dealt with, do we come back and say, okay, our prioritization, the things are waiting in the queue a long time before they work out. How does that look for really high priority items? Are they also taking 8 weeks? Or are the high priority items able to be seen, triaged, and gotten to development really quickly, and so that they're getting out the door to our customer? This is the idea of value stream management, that we want to look at this as holistically as possible, understand our flow so that we can improve. We're going to do some key metrics here. We're going to be looking at the overall throughput, the volume of change that's going out the door. Ideally, we understand the value of that. We're also going to be looking at probably the cycle time. So from when we start development until it gets to our client, right? The 7 weeks, as well as the overall average lead time from when we have the idea out to it getting to our customer. So the 7 weeks plus 8 weeks, 15 weeks to do that. So that's the key idea of value stream management. Let's look at this, let's measure it, let's understand it. And if we need to move people around to relieve our big bottleneck, let's go do that. So I hope this was a good introduction to value stream management. Thank you. If you have questions, please drop us a line. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to like and subscribe.